Welcome to module number 2. We shall continue some additional assessment criteria in learning outcome number 1, which is understanding the key concepts relating to projects and PRINCE2. Now, what would we be covering in this particular module? In module number 2, we would describe some key concepts related to project management. We would look into some of the common reasons why project management is used. We would examine the common challenges that PRINCE2 is designed to address, and we would look into the characteristics of a project, and we would examine projects in context, and we would finally conclude with the features and benefits of PRINCE2. Now, here we've got some reasons why project management is used. Now, one of the key challenges that organizations face is a challenge of balancing two competing needs. And the two competing needs are maintaining current business operations, also called as business as usual, and some of the examples of BAU aspects would include maintaining profitability, service quality, customer relationship, brand loyalty, productivity, and market confidence. So this is one of the needs of any organization. Now, the other competing need is, on the one hand, there is a need to maintain your operations. On the other hand, there's a need to improve or transform business operations to survive and compete in the future. Also known as business change. For example, anticipating and deciding how changes can be introduced to the greatest effect. So usually the bridge to resolve these competing needs is project management. And this particular challenge can really help put project management in perspective. Now, what are some of the challenges that PRINCE2 is designed to address? So we've got a few ideas that are presented for you on this particular slide. Now, the typical characteristics of a project, which would be the temporariness of a project, the fact that projects are exposed to greater uncertainty, the fact that projects are unique, etc. They can result in some typical challenges, such as ambiguity regarding who is responsible for what aspects of the project, leading to confusion and a lack of accountability, which is usually not the case if you are working in an operating environment. In an operating environment, you have clear lines of reporting, you know what you need to do, but usually in the world of projects, there is a lack of clarity on who is responsible for what aspects of the project. Another challenge is ambiguity or conflict regarding what the project will deliver, what would the cost, and what are the timelines. That's another challenge that is associated with project thinking. Another one is unrealistic expectations regarding what the project will deliver, cost, and when. Sometimes there could be a hyping of benefits and outcomes, which may not be really realistic. So that is a challenge. Resources is another challenge. Unavailability of resources or reassigning resources to BAU activities or project work is another challenge. Difficulty in estimating effort, duration and cost for project work, uncontrolled change, also known as scope creep, and difficulty keeping the project management team and stakeholders informed, engaged, and motivated in the project lifecycle are some of the challenges that PRINCE2 is designed to address. Now, there are 5 characteristics of a project that PRINCE2 talks about, and you need to kind of keep these 5 characteristics in perspective. They would ask you questions in the exam. Characteristic number 1, change. If you remember, in an earlier slide, we talked about 2 competing needs. On the one hand, there's a need to maintain your business as usual component in terms of productivity, customer loyalty, so on. On the other hand, there's a need to improve a business or transform a business. And usually projects are the means to introduce that change within the organization. Number two characteristic is projects are temporary. In other words, they have a definite start date and they have a definite end date. When the desired change has been implemented, business as usual resumes in its new form and the need for project is removed. As projects are temporary, they should therefore have a definite start and a definite end. And the third characteristic is projects are cross-functional. A project involves a team of people with different skills working together on a temporary basis to introduce a change that will impact others outside the team. Projects often work across the usual functional divisions within an organization and sometimes span different organizations too. Now, this frequently causes stress and strains both within and between the organizations. Each has a different perspective and motivation for getting involved in the project. Now, this is quite unique and an important functionality or feature of a project. So we looked into three features so far. Projects are agents of change, projects are temporary, projects are cross-functional, and number four, projects are unique. Every project is unique. An organization may undertake many similar projects and establish a familiar, proven pattern of project activity, but every time or each time, each one will differ in a certain way. This can mean a different team, a different customer, a different supplier. Sometimes, even though the product is the same, there could be a variation in the products. There could be different location and time frame. So all of these factors combined make each project unique. And the last characteristic is projects are uncertain. So this characteristic basically talks about the fact that projects are exposed to greater amount of threats and opportunities in comparison to the operating environment. Operations are to a large extent streamlined, so you just manage a few exceptions, but projects are exposed to greater exceptions. Projects are riskier than any operational aspect of an organization. So please keep these five characteristics in perspective in mind. They would ask you questions in the exam.